All right, let's jump right into this explainer and see how we can pull some seriously critical device health data in literally 5 minutes. Look, whether you're a local IT tech trying to crush support tickets, a senior IT director managing a massive global infrastructure, or even a CEO who just wants to make sure your company's digital workforce isn't losing money to access interruptions, this is absolutely for you. We're going to walk through a really fantastic strategy we sourced from Endpoint Weekly. It's going to take us from the very basics of device health right up to advanced fleet management, and it completely transforms how we look at our data. Because here's the million-dollar question for every IT director and admin. How many devices in your fleet actually have a valid PRT right now? Now, if you aren't familiar with it, PRT stands for Primary Refresh Token. You can basically think of it as the master key that grants your Windows devices seamless single sign-on access to Microsoft 365 and EntraID resources. And it's pretty simple. Broken primary refresh tokens mean broken access, which directly kills user productivity. You know, you might have deployed a PRT detection script out there via Intune Proactive Remediation, so your devices are running it. But right now, today, do you actually know which ones are broken and exactly who the affected users are? Here is our roadmap for today. We're going to cover the Fleet Health Blind Spot, Enter Graph Explorer, a quick PRT reporting tutorial, exporting to Excel, Fleet Health Insights, and finally, the Admin Prospect. Starting off with Part 1, the Fleet Health Blind Spot. Let's look at why finding this data is currently so incredibly frustrating. You've probably noticed that Intune's default reports are, well, kind of like a locked black box. They hide the really granular details you actually need, and they just leave you staring at generic, compliant, non-compliant, or error messages. It completely buries the actual script output. You can't see which specific check failed, what the PRT expiry date was, or if the Windows Hello NGC key was even set. But Graph Explorer, that's your magnifying glass. It exposes everything, letting you tap directly into the raw, fully queryable detection output stored right there in Microsoft Graph. Which brings us to Part 2, Enter Graph Explorer. Let's see how we bypass those annoying Intune limitations entirely by using a tool provided directly by Microsoft. Graph Explorer is a total game changer here, giving admins a really powerful, super easy win. Seriously. No PowerShell required, no new app registrations needed in EntraID, and absolutely zero coding involved. It's incredibly efficient. We're talking just one query, one export, and one Excel file. It is the perfect bridge from basic, everyday administration to advanced data extraction. All right, Part 3, the PRT reporting tutorial. Let's walk through exactly how to execute this step by step using the process mapped out by Endpoint Weekly. Here is the roadmap for the tutorial. 4 simple steps that take less than 5 minutes. First, we sign in. Second, we locate the specific ID for our script. Third, we extract that hidden device data. And finally, we bring the whole shebang into a tool we all know and love, Excel. Okay, so when you first sign into the Graph Explorer using an Intune administrator or global reader account, you absolutely must ensure this specific permission is consented to. Just click Modify Permissions in the left panel and double-check for DeviceManagement scripts.read_all. This is what actually authorizes you to read the proactive remediation scripts and those highly detailed device run states. Now, watch out for this little gotcha. If your organization has strict security settings, and let's be real, whose doesn't these days? You might see a Need Admin Approval message pop up. You'll either need your Azure AD admin to grant consent for the Graph Explorer Enterprise app, or you can just temporarily use a global admin account for this one-off query to breeze right past it. So here's your very first query to list all your scripts and find your PRT Health Check Policy ID. You just run this GET request, and the response is going to list every script with its ID and display name. Just look for your PRT Health Check policy and copy that GUID. Oh, and by the way, note that the beta endpoint used here is fully supported for production use in Intune tooling, so please don't let the word beta scare you off. Once you replace that bracketed ID in the URL with the script UID you just copied, this second query pulls the run states for every single device. And here is the really cool part. By appending that expand equals managed devices command at the very end, we are forcing Graph to give us the actual host names and the primary user principal names, the UPNs. That's exactly how we connect a failing script to an actual human being in your organization. Actually, keep this quick warning in mind. Because the detection script runs in the user context, devices without an active sign-in simply won't appear in the results. If a laptop has been sitting in a desk drawer powered off, or if the user hasn't logged in interactively since you assigned the policy, you're going to see a gap in your report. It's super important to understand this so you aren't chasing ghosts when you're trying to match up your total device counts later. Moving right along to Part 4, Exporting to Excel.
So, you've downloaded the raw JSON data. Now what? Well, you just use a few quick Power Query steps in Excel to magically split that raw data into clean, readable columns. You just import the file, expand the value list into a table, and then expand the Managed Device field. The real trick here is that the custom detection script writes its output with pipe delimiters. So you just use Excel's text-to-columns feature, choose the pipe character, and boom! Instantly, your single, messy string becomes beautiful, distinct columns for status, domain-joined, PRT, and expiry date. Whole thing takes maybe 30 seconds.
Now for Part 5, Fleet Health Insights. You know, data without interpretation is just noise. So let's figure out what our formatted data is actually telling us. This matrix right here is the climax of our explainer. It instantly translates that raw script output into an immediate action plan for your team. If it says success, awesome, you do nothing. If it failed but remediation succeeded, the automatic fix worked, so you just monitor it. If it says error, the script couldn't run, likely because the device is just offline. But that third row, that is where our focus needs to go. If you see a device showing this remediation failed status, that is your absolute top priority. The automatic fix failed. This means the PRT is missing, access to company resources is actively broken right now, and the automated safety nets you put in place through Intune could not bring it back online. These users are undoubtedly dealing with annoying authentication prompts, sync errors, or just outright access blocks as we speak.
And finally, Part 6, the admin prospect.
We found the needle in the haystack. Now we need to look at what the ITAdmin actually has to do to resolve those priority failures. So why do these automatic fixes fail? Well, it usually boils down to two main culprits, disrupting the connection. The first is a stale hybrid Azure AD join. This happens when the device's registration in EntraID has essentially expired. The second is a UPN change. Maybe a user got married and their email changed, meaning the cached credential on their machine no longer matches the live account up in the cloud. To fix these stragglers, you're going to need some direct intervention to force a fresh authentication token. You will need to reach out to these specific users and have them manually sign completely out of Windows and back in. In some of the really stubborn hybrid join cases, you might actually need to manually trigger the hybrid AD join scheduled task to run again. But here's the beauty of it. Because you used Graph Explorer to get the exact hostnames and usernames, your IT team knows exactly who to call, saving you literally hours of reactive troubleshooting. I really hope this explainer empowered you to grab that data, take control of your fleet's health, and keep those devices running perfectly. By pulling back the curtain on what Intune hides and leveraging Graph Explorer, you are elevating your IT operations from reactive to highly proactive. So I'll leave you with this final thought. Now that you know exactly how to pull this critical data in under 5 minutes, what are you waiting for? Dive into Graph Explorer today and see what your fleet is really trying to tell you.